Coming up next, the harmless habit that's making you hate your job. I'll tell you about the greatest failure you could make in life. We'll take your calls and your chats. It all starts right now. Coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville. You're joining a conversation about who you are, what you were born to do, where you want to do it, and how you can get there. I'm Ken. So excited to have you with us. It's going to be a fun show today. I just feel it. It's Friday, and while the rest of the world is just kind of trying to slow down and coast in the weekend, I got some extra juice. So much juice that I ran in here 20 seconds before the show. I'm talking at my desk, the stuff we're dreaming and scheming about. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to go. I'm live in like 2 minutes. So sorry to the crew. Nathan, the director, you can't see Nathan, but he's back there going, whew, whew. So I apologize. This is a good thing. And I'm confessing to the audience, Nathan, because here's why. It is possible for you to get that excited about your work. And I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm actually making fun of myself. I lost track of time. But how many times have you heard me on the show say, what's the work that when you're engaged in it, time seems to just disappear? That's what it is for me. And anybody who works with me, they laugh about me and probably talk about me behind my back because I can get distracted on something and just go and go and go. But is it a distraction? No. That's passion. High levels of emotion, high levels of devotion. So, I'm fired up. I want you to finish well today. We're going to give you some great information, starting with this. What is that habit that's making you hate your job? Great article from payscale.com. I really love this article. And here's your warning. This is going to step on your toes. It stepped on my toes when I read it. So I was like, if it's stepping on my toes, then I need to share it with the audience. Wondering why you hate your job. It's possible that you're venting about it a little too much. The habit of complaining. Oh boy, watch out, Ken. It's Friday and you're talking about complaining. Complaining can hold you back in a lot of ways. We're going to break that down. Now, listen to this. And when you hear this data, be honest with yourself. Is this you? Studies show that people complain about 30 times a day on average. 30 times on average. I know, Nathan, I know you don't complain. But it is a safe assumption to assume that the people that are complaining on average 30 times a day, they're griping about work. We know this. Now, here's the deal about complaining. The actual habit of complaining is strengthened with repetition. The more you do it, a couple things happen. Number one, it feels normal because you've done it so much. It's like, oh, well, this is my normal operation here. I just complain about everything. And then this is the scary second thing that happens. You're carving a deeper groove. If you're surrounded by other people who complain about a lot. Birds of a feather flock together. It's an old phrase. It's true. I could walk into any office in America and I could find a complainer and follow them around and they would be hanging out with other complainers. They're in the lunchroom like a bunch of vultures. It's just like, it's like, you ever driven by roadkill? Have you? Yeah. What do you see when you see roadkill on the side of the road? You see either some crows or you see those nasty vultures, and they're always hanging out together, aren't they? It's rare that you see one bird over there nipping at the carcass. They're together. Why? Because vultures like to hang out together and they're just tearing things apart. Stay away from vultures that are complaining all the time. All right. How does this affect your career? Number one, complaining affects your mood. We know from research that complaining worsens your stress or can cause stress, obviously. Others are dragged down by your complaining. Humans by nature are empathetic. So you start complaining around somebody who by nature may not be a complainer, and you start complaining around them, they're going to go, oh, yeah, the world really does suck. I'm going to complain a little bit too. It also damages your professional reputation. You complain a lot, healthy, positive people are going to start to shun you. Hear what I just said. You get the reputation to be a complainer, people aren't going to want to hang out with you. That may be one reason why you're stuck, why you're getting overlooked at work. Nobody wants to promote a complainer. And then finally, you learn to focus on the negative. Our brains, we talk about this a lot on this program, that fight or flight lizard brain, you've heard people talk about this, that's a natural survival instinct that our brain has for us, okay? Which means we're constantly kind of on the lookout. Is there something dangerous here? So that's what they call the negativity bias, the scientific term for this. Well, here's the deal. We're already predisposed to that. So if we get in a habit of complaining, guess what? Our brain's going to do it all the time. 844-747-2577. Fire those chat questions in here. We're looking for them right now. If you're watching, give us a thumbs up. Like today's episode, share it, subscribe. That's how we grow. So if you're enjoying this conversation, you are the ones that'll help us. YouTube pays attention to your activity, and then they throw that into an algorithm. So if you do like what you're consuming here, help us that way. Fire those YouTube questions. We're going to get to those a little bit later. 844-747-2577 is the number. 844-747-2577. Chloe starts us off in Salt Lake City. Chloe, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's going on today?
So I'm 20 years old. I recently graduated with my degree in welding technology.
Hey, Chloe.
I'm working
Chloe, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're really muffled. Let's see if we can get that phone repositioned so we can hear you clearly.
Okay. Is this better?
Not so much. Let's try something else. One more time.
All right. How about that?
It's better. Let's give it a shot. So I heard that you're 20 and you just recently graduated with some type of welding degree. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm currently working as a welder and an automation technician.
Okay.
I'm really enjoying it. There's really good money in it.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually I want to end up pursuing a career in fashion design. I've always wanted to do that.
Okay.
The welding and the automation technician work will help put me through school and pays good money to help potentially start a business in the future.
Okay.
But I'm wondering what I should keep in mind with the timing of my career change.
I love this question, and I love what you're doing, Chloe. You literally are the model for so many callers that call in on this show. You have got a good gig right now that's paying you well, and you actually enjoy it. And I actually see the connection between the welding and the designing, the fashion. I really do see a connection. I think it's a really interesting connection. And so continue to keep working and stocking money away, because you're right. It's funding your future. I say that all the time. Your day job is funding your dream job. So I'm so proud of you, Chloe. I think it's a simple answer to your question. I can't give you an exact timing, but you will determine the timing. And the timing is this. When you save up enough money, okay, or you have enough money to cash flow your way through the fashion schooling, the fashion design schooling, for lack of a better phrase. I hope I'm saying that right.
Right.
When you have that either saved up in the hole, or you can cash flow your way through it, and then you get done with that degree, which is the education you need to get qualified and to get in, then you start getting connected and you start using the proximity principle while working in that day job. Keep stacking money away. Chloe, you're wealthy. You're debt-free. That's your mindset here. I've got the qualification now. Now I need to get some experience. So it's the 2 E's in stage 2 of my 7 stages. All right, stage 1's get clear. You're totally clear. Stage 2, get qualified. And you're in the process of getting there. And so that's the education, then the experience. So the timeline is you stay in that welding job until you are ready to step into either a full-time gig in the fashion industry, okay, or you get the part-time. So maybe you go to part-time welding and then you're part-time fashion design. It's either or, but you stay there until you get the gig and you step into it. And then I really love the idea, Chloe, of 2 options here. One, if you're really, really special, and while you're doing all the schooling, while you're working that day job, you start designing stuff and maybe putting it out online because there's no pressure there. You don't need that to actually generate any money. If it does, it's bonus, but you're really just beginning to practice because what you learn in the classroom is great, but at the end of the day, you're going to become a better designer, Chloe, by doing what?
Doing it on my own time and building a portfolio.
You're absolutely right. Chloe is a rock star. She gets it. This kiddo is 20 years old, and you are way, way out in front of a lot of 40-year-olds, Chloe. I'm so proud of you. I really am. So that's it. You determine the timeline. And so the two options are, sorry, I got so excited about you, Chloe. I had to brag on you. I didn't finish my thing. The second option is you go work for somebody else in the fashion industry. Let them pay you to get more experience and more education right there in the industry. And then keep working your way up. And eventually you start your own thing. So I can't wait. I can't wait. We're going to hear from Chloe one day. I guarantee you that. You're going to hear about Chloe. I absolutely believe that. 844-747-2577. Luke joins us in Appleton, Wisconsin. Luke, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken, it's a pleasure to talk to you.
The pleasure's all mine, Luke. What's going on?
Like you, I'm a radio guy. I heard the show yesterday. You started out talking to about two people on Friday night at a football game.
Yes,
and
that's right.
I have since worked my way up to a position that I love. I'm on air. It's my passion. Radio has been my passion. I know it's yours as well. But I have a fiance. I have a little guy at home. And now my passion has shifted. I want to be with them, and I know radio takes you away from that. And I've recently applied for different jobs to better myself, better, financially and everything, debt-free, thanks to Dave. But I'm just wondering, I'm running into issues as far as I don't have the degree, which is a lot of the requirements, and I know I have the experience.
Degree to do what? Hold on.
Don't know where to go.
All right, hold on. Well, I'm not clear where we're going. Degree to do what? You got the experience, you don't have the degree to do what?
Well, that's also my other search. I got to find what I need to do.
Okay, well, hold on then. So I hope you hear this from a kind place, but you're all backwards. You just called me and said, Ken, I'm running into a problem. Actually, let me you just gave me three things. Let me start at the beginning. Number one, Ken, I love radio. I absolutely love it. I'm in it. I love it. I'm passionate about it. Like you couldn't stop talking about it. You love it. Then you said, but I got a problem. Got a fiance. I put a ring on it. That means we're gonna figure that out. And then I got a little guy at home. So I'm a dad and I'm about to be a husband, and I don't feel like I make enough money on the radio. Am I reading this right?
That is correct.
All right. Then you said, so I'm looking at something else, which you said nothing about passion. You said nothing about loving anything. You said, well, I gotta do something else. My passion has shifted. I actually think that's a lie. Not that you're a liar, but I think your brain's lying to you, telling you that your passion has changed. And I think your heart's going, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's not true. Am I right, Luke?
I can't argue with that.
Oh, boy. I love it when I'm right because it's on your behalf. Now, let's keep going. So then you said, but the problem is, Ken, everything says I need a degree, but I've got the experience. And I went, oh, well, that's interesting. So what is it that we want to do? And you went, I don't know. Does that make any sense to you when I repeat it back to you? Makes no sense.
It doesn't.
Okay, so let's start with how much money do you make in radio right now?
Mid-30s.
And what is the number that you called in your head to? You have a number in your mind. That's why you called me. And if I were to just put you in a corporate job right now, giving you a salary that makes Luke the father and Luke the future husband feel really good about himself and what he needs to be able to provide, what's that number?
Mid-50s.
Okay, so we're talking about a $20,000 or $18,000 to $20,000 more, yes or no?
Yes.
All right. Where could you make, just for the heck of it, let's just play this out. Don't overthink this. Where could you make $18,000 to $20,000 more in radio or broadcasting?
Voiceover work, side hustles.
All right. Now let's just do another little juxtaposition. This is one of my favorite words. I know it's a 50-cent word. It just means we're going to look over here. We're going to look at option A, option B. Okay. Option A. Luke stays in radio, the thing that he loves to do more than anything else. He starts doing some voiceover work, some other stuff, some other side hustle stuff, and he comes up with that 18 to 20 that makes him feel like he's a good provider. All right, that's option A. Option B, Luke tries to figure out something that just gives him a steady $50,000 to $60,000 salary, and he feels good about himself early on until 6 months in, he goes, I miss the radio. My heart is literally drying up inside of my chest. Option A or B, Luke? What do you think the audience would say?
Got to stick with your passion. I know that.
Yeah. Now, here's one other little thing. Let me throw a wrinkle. I always like to throw a wrinkle. What about option C? What is it about radio that Luke really loves? What is it about broadcasting that really makes Luke's heart come alive? What is the role that Luke is really excited about filling? And then is there another way to do that that's not radio, but it's the same role, the same result that Luke gets fired up about? Luke, just for fun, tell us, what do you love most about being a broadcaster? And then what is the result of your broadcasting that you look at the end of every day and go, this matters to me?
I love giving back, helping people out, and making them smile.
Great. That's the result. Okay? Tell me what you love about actually broadcasting itself, the actual work of showing up every day and being live without a safety net. What do you love about it?
It's not work. It's fun.
Why? Why is it fun?
Because I get to do what I love every day.
Nah, it's a bad answer. Go deeper. Why is it fun, Jeff, when the light goes on and you're the only person talking on the mic? Be honest here. Go deeper. Why is it fun?
They're listening to me, and they're listening to what I have to say, and it's fulfilling to know that.
Yeah, we go. Why? Because you like to perform under pressure. That gives you the juice. Am I right, Luke?
That's right.
Now we got deep, because that's the same answer for me. Anybody who loves public speaking in front of large crowds, going on TV, or being on the radio live, we all share that commonality. Okay? We're the freaks of the world because most people fear public speaking more than death, except for nut jobs like you and me, Luke. We love the pressure, right?
That's true. That is true.
I know it's true. So here's the deal. Let's have some fun. What would be another way that you could do what we just detailed out, but it's not on the radio? How could you do that somewhere else and be just as fulfilled because you're dealing with that pressure to perform, to create a result that makes people's lives better, even in the few moments that they're with you? How else could you do that? Give me one option.
Off the top of my head, I'm drawing a blank.
No, I'm going to force you to do it. I'm going to go a little long with you because I'm going to force you to throw something out. What is it? What would be another way you could do what you're doing? Performing?
Local theater. I mean, that's...
Local what?
Theater.
No, that you're going too extreme. You're going to starve doing local theater. Okay, that's not a full...
Oh, you're talking job-wise. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying in the marketplace, how would you... There are other ways to do that. You see what I'm saying? Here's the deal. I'm going to let you off the hook, but I want you to grab what I just did. All I did was ask you to tell me, I said, forget radio, but let's talk about the actual thing you're doing and why it gives you the juice, and you told me. Oh, Ken, I like knowing that everybody's listening to me. All eyes are on me. It's about performing. I love performing under pressure. Okay. Well, there's a lot of ways you could perform under pressure, Luke, in the marketplace. You get that?
I get it.
Now you get it. And so what's the result? Well, I want to be able to lift people with my public performance. There are multiple ways you could do that. Okay? So you have to think through that. But I actually don't think you need that exercise. I think you need to stay in radio, and I think you need to find a way to make more money and still stay in radio while you're still kind of raising that antenna that I just gave you that you've never thought through before. But let me give him an example, folks, before we move on. So Luke, what Luke could have said, and again, this isn't holding him to this, but what he could have said was, Well, public performance. I mean, that's just basically communicating in public. So I could be a college professor. I could be a community college professor. I could go into training, corporate training, where I'm training people. I could, you know what I'm saying? He could. We just have to start to go, wait a second, let's strip this thing down. If I stuck Luke in front of a group of 200 people and he had some preparation time to deliver a message, he'd have the same juice in his heart that he does when he's live on the air. So then we just have to make the last connection. Luke likes being on the airwaves to give people information, whether it be informational or educational or motivational, but it makes their life better. That's what he basically said, making people smile. That's an entertainment quality. That's the result. Entertainment's pure. That's a great thing to do. But he has to just find the tie. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I could do this job or fill this role in this place, and this place. And I just have to make sure that whatever I'm publicly communicating, when I'm performing publicly, that the result of my public performance connects to my heart. It's actually really simple, isn't it, folks? That's why we go deeper. So he doesn't have to stay in radio. But this is all about money for Luke. And I get it. As a dude, you got responsibilities. You got to provide. I get it. But don't overthink it. 844-747-2577 is the number. This Should I Quit My Job quiz, I got to tell you about it real quick. It's absolutely free. It's at kencoleman.com. It's going absolutely bananas. People are downloading it like crazy. 20 questions, 3 minutes or less, and you're going to get one of 4 results. And it's going to tell you, should I quit my job or not? And we give you a detailed plan of action depending on your result. Did I mention it's free and it's fast? Should I Quit My Job quiz, kencoleman.com. All right, let's go to the chat window. Shola Rahim types in, hey, Ken, your resume template is awesome, putting who you know at the top. I just moved to the United Kingdom, don't know many people. Is there a workaround if you can't use the proximity principle this way? Okay. Shola, I appreciate this question. We've gotten this question hundreds of times already. There's no workaround. There's no workaround to actually using the web of connections that we all have. If you just submit a resume, it is possible that if you just submit it and you don't have any type of connection to somebody in that company who can then vouch for you, you can still get hired, but it takes a lot longer and the chances are a lot smaller. It's like playing the lottery. Gee, I hope this lottery ticket hits. So the answer is no. There's no workaround. The right people plus the right places equals opportunity. When you are around the right people and in the right places, the people that are doing what you want to do, and in the places where the type of work is happening for you, that's where opportunity comes to you. Get the proximity principle if you don't have it. Read the book, because I take you step by step, person by person, place by place through this process so that you go, oh my gosh, I'm not ever going to have to just beat doors down again. All I've got to do is show up in the right places and show up around the right people. And I work my web of connections. We have a whole chapter on that in the book. And opportunity is going to come my way. You can absolutely move from the United States to another country, use the proximity principle, and get in. You're going to have to work hard, though. You're going to have to uncover the rocks one at a time. I'm looking for the connection. I'm looking. It's like that old match game. You know what I mean? I don't know if that game still exists for kids. You got young kids. They got a little match game where it's like the little cards. You slap them all down and you go, there's a cat here. Where's the other cat? And how's that work? We turn over one. We look at it. Okay, there it is. And we turn over it. We're just turning over. The way to win the match game is simply to keep turning the cards over. The secret to winning using the proximity principle is to keep turning over those rocks and see, do I know somebody here that knows somebody there? What are my degrees of connections? It's going to work, but you got to stay with it. Let's go to Emily Stumpf here. She says, Ken, I'm a stay-at-home mom to 2 toddlers, and I don't love it. I'm laughing. Not at you, Emily. I'm laughing with you, okay? Hello. We went from 1 to 3 kids in 9 months. I'll explain that story in a future show. But I'm telling you, that's a tough season. I feel it. I'm struggling to discover my sweet spot and don't want to start a job I end up hating. Any advice? Yeah. I want you to call the show. But here's the simple process to begin the discovery. And you can do this on your own if you are diligent. Here it is. Get out a piece of paper, 3 lines on the paper. Left column, what I do best. Talent. That's what you're writing at the top. And I want you to list out your top abilities. These would be skills. Think hard skills, things that I can actually use to do work. And then I want you to write down your top qualities. So abilities and qualities. And so quality is it's like a character trait. So I'm a very patient. I'm a hard worker. I am very empathetic. I am compassionate. That's a quality, a character trait that is also something you can use. So write those things down. Second column, right at the top, passion, what I love to do most. Think of a task, a role that you have played before or that you enjoy now. This work, if I'm doing this all day long, that would be really, really fun. So that's the work that you anticipate. So you have high emotion, you get excited about it, thinking about it and doing it. High levels of devotion. That is, I find myself when I'm engaged in it, I just keep going and going and going. I don't want to stop. So that's emotion, devotion. Third column, results, mission. And then it's results that matter most. And then write down, who are the people I really want to help? What's the problem that I get fired up about solving? Or what solution would I want to bring to those people with that problem? And boy, those results matter to me. So if I use what I do best, left column, to do what I love to do most, middle column, to produce a result that really matters deeply to me, far right column, now that's the sweet spot, right? That's where they intersect. And so that's the process to figure out the sweet spot, okay? So start there, but I really want you to call. That's why I do this show every day, for people to have access to me, to be able to call in. I'm going to take good care of you, okay? I promise. But I can't go back and forth with you in a chat window. All right, 844-747-2577. We'll get back to the phones in a moment. But I want to share this thought with you. We talked about this at the top of the program. What's the greatest failure in your life? What could possibly, everybody's afraid of failing. Like, it's terrifying. Oh, I don't want to fail. Oh my gosh, what if I fail? Everybody's terrified of failure. But I say, and any successful person says, that it is the failures in my life that moved me forward. You can't make progress in your life. Listen to me. You can't make progress in any area of your life, not just professionally. Physical progress, relational progress, spiritual progress. You can't make progress without failure. Because when we move into new territory and we do new things and we attempt to move forward, guess what? We will stumble. In other words, we will fail. But it is when we fail that we were able to look at the failure, we step back and we go, what did I do wrong? What did I do right? What do I need to remove from the process? What do I need to improve? Okay, so failure is actually a good thing. Parents, quick aside here. Stop protecting your kids from failure. Would you please, parents? I got 3 kids. This is a deal I deal with every day. I got a 14-year-old, an 11-year-old, and an 11-year-old. So I'm all the time trying to protect my kids. But in protecting them, I'm not letting them fail, which means I'm not letting them actually feel the sting. And they go, oh, it's not that bad. Failure's not really scary. Oh, man. Sometimes I say stuff and I'm just like, is this going to offend people? Because I'm not in the game of offending. We don't do politics here, but I got to say this. I'm going to step on some more toes. And then I'll get to the teaching, the biggest failure. I'm on a rant right now, but it's the Ken Coleman Show. So I'm going to say what I want to say, okay? Because this is really good for you parents. And please don't be offended, but you need to hear this. And let me say this, last qualifier. I'm preaching to myself here. We have millions and millions of people in this world that are terrified to fail because their parents protected them from failure. And parents, I get it. We don't want to see our kids in pain. But sometimes we got to let them touch the burner to burn their little fingers so they go, I'm never going to touch the burner again. I know, graphic example, but guess what? That comes from my life. Never forget it either. 6-year-old Kenny Coleman decided to touch the burner. It was one of those electric stoves. Why is that orange? Ah! Life lesson. Don't touch the burner. Yeah, you know what? Shocking information, folks. Never touch the burner again. To this day, when I cook at my house, I'm a little gun shy. I'm easing in there real careful like, right? I don't want to get burned. All right. Now that I went on the rant, parents, please let your kids experience failure. Then walk them through the failure. And they're going to be really, really resilient adults. All right. Here it is. The greatest mistake or the greatest failure that you can make in your life, and this comes from an Elbert Hubbard quote, and I absolutely love this, so I want to give him credit. He said, the greatest mistake you can make in life is continually fearing that you'll make one. So our greatest failure is allowing the fear of failure to keep us from doing anything. If you are so horrified and thus paralyzed by the possibility of failure, it's going to keep you from doing anything that would actually have the chance of failure. And these are the timid, miserable souls that sit on the bleachers of life, and they're watching the rest of us play the game. So here's the deal. Start to embrace failure as something that does not have to kill me or harm me. But if I have a plan and I know that the worst possible failure is just going to be a bruise or a skinned knee, then I'm good. I'll never forget learning to ride my bike. My dad was teaching me to ride the bike, and I was terrified. Couldn't do it. And in a stroke of genius, my dad figured out after about the second or third time, Joe, I just would not, he'd get me out on this little alleyway near our house, and he'd have his hand on the thing. He's like, I'm going to take the hand off right now. I'm taking it off. I go, no. I didn't fall apart. 8 years old. Stroke of genius. He said, all right, let's try something. This is after the third day we tried to do this, and I'm just melting down because of fear that I'm going to fall over and break my neck and die. That's what an 8-year-old is thinking. He said, let's go in the back. We have a flat backyard at the bottom of this little hill behind our house. I'll never forget it. And he goes, let's go. And this flat piece, he goes, it's going to be harder to pedal, but if you fall, 2 things. You won't break anything. And 2, you're not even going to skin your knee up. You're riding on grass. And it made sense to me. And so we did the same thing we'd been doing. He grabbed a hold of that seat. He said, all right, now go. Pedal, 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 pedal. So I pedaled. And he said, I'm going to let go. I'm going to let go. And I was still like, ah. But in that moment, I was like, wait a second. He just defined failure for me. If I fall, I'm not going to break my bone, neck, or die. And I'm not even going to skin my knee. And in that moment, I go, okay. And I didn't melt down. And he let go of the seat. And guess what happened? I wrecked the bike. I really did. I wrecked it. Yeah, Joe was in my ear. He's going, oh yeah, you rode it beautifully. See, that's the story you wanted to hear, didn't you? You wanted to hear Ken's victory. No, you're missing the point. And this is a true story. I wrecked the bike within about 5 seconds. I was like, ah! And I go to the left. It was just this slow crash. Boom. But here's the beauty of the story. When I wrecked, guess what happened? Kind of gathered myself, and I'm still halfway under the bike, and I realized for a second, wait a second, I'm alive. Wait a second. My neck works. My neck's actually working. Looked at my knees. All of my skin is there, Joe. And I got up, and my dad looked at me in all of his wisdom, and he went, see? I told you wouldn't get hurt. Now, the rest of the story is We did it again. Same deal. He let go of the seat, and this time I wrote it. It is the failure that we must step into because it is the actual fear that is paralyzing us. So we've actually got to experience the failure to realize, wait a second, it's not as bad as my fear told me it was going to be. Nowhere near as bad. All right, epic long rant. I can't get back to callers, but I'm going to tell you something. If you're new to the show or you've been listening to the show, you've heard me address fear so many times. I've never shared that story of me riding the bike. It just popped in my mind, but I'm going to tell you something. That story that I just shared is as real as some of the fear that you men and women are facing about stepping into the calling that the creator of the universe put you on this planet to fill. You're terrified to actually step in to the role that you were created to fill because it requires change. And change is scary because we don't know exactly what the path is going to look like. We don't know exactly what the timing is going to look like. And because of the unknown, we get afraid and we go, what if I fail? What if I start that business and I fail? Well, your brain is telling you you're going to be homeless and starve. That's a lie from the pit of hell. You're not going to starve. You're not going to be homeless. Stop thinking that garbage. Well, what if I change careers and I go take a job with a company and it doesn't work out? All my friends are going to think I'm a loser and they're going to just abandon me. No, they're not. Whatever your fear is, fear of rejection, what's it going to feel like if I apply for a job and they say no? It's going to hurt. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You're going to deal with insecurity and it's not going to feel very good. But guess what? Welcome to life. You can't ride a bike until you wreck it. So I'm here for you, and I'm so fired up about this because I'm seeing it every day. And let me tell you this. I said this on yesterday's show. You cannot eliminate fear from your life, so get used to it. Embrace it. Some of you are trying to remove all fear from your life, and that requires you to do one thing. Put on a giant padded suit and go sit in a padded room. Well, I can't get hurt here. You want to know why you're miserable? Because your soul's saying, get out there. Be who you were created to be. Go love somebody. Go touch somebody. Go make an impact. Go influence somebody. And that's your heart and your head's going, no, don't do it because you might fail. Ah! All right. You think I've beat up fear enough today? I think so. I think I've given a pretty good whipping. And that's what we need to do for each other. Express your fears to people. Get it out. Talk to somebody. Hear how silly it sounds. Put it on paper and look at it and go, oh my gosh, this is silly. This is not going to happen. If I have a plan, it's not going to happen. I'm going to be okay. I know that you're supposed to do something that somebody needs. Figure out what it is and understand that if I've got to move forward, I'm going to fail. There is no moving forward without failure. All right, Joe, I'm out of time. I'm fired up. Hey, you matter. You do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.